First off, we got some more detailed specs about the camera setups that we'll be getting on both the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. We've heard for a long time now that we'll be getting a triple camera setup on the 8 and a quad camera setup on the 8 Pro. This is further to the leaks we got before about the camera specs, but more importantly, we actually get the hardware that OnePlus will be using in the phones. Megapixels don't matter too much once you get up to these crazy ranges we're getting in Android phones now, but the actual hardware used does make a difference. And according to Roland Quant and his leaks on the specs of these devices, it looks like even though the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro both have a main camera sensor with 48 megapixels, it is not the same camera sensor. According to his specs list, the OnePlus 8 Pro is confirmed yet again to have a 48 megapixel main sensor, an ultra wide, a 3x telephoto zoom, and a depth sensor. As a side note, I really hope that the 3x zoom is a real 3x telephoto zoom this time and not 2.4x like it was in the last generation. And according to more information today, OnePlus will not be going the route of a couple of other phones, namely the Xiaomi Mi 10 series and the Galaxy S20 series, in offering us 8K video recording. And to be totally honest, I myself, and I think a lot of you guys too, won't be too disappointed by this. 8K just has so many limitations in terms of stabilization. HDR isn't as good as when you use 4K, for example. And you also get huge file sizes, so not having it I don't think is a big deal. OnePlus are apparently focusing on 4K video, getting that right and better, adding better HDR, better stabilization from both the processor and the hardware on the phone. And we even got this video shared by Pete Lau, the CEO, showing off just what the OnePlus 8 Pro can do. According to other reports, also the OnePlus 8 Pro will have a zoom mic feature, and we see this most recently in some Samsung flagships where you can actually zoom in on the video and you can zoom the mic into that part of the screen as well. And we can actually see from the hardware leaks of the OnePlus 8 Pro, it is using a much bigger microphone cutout this time around. So I'm hoping for some pretty good audio in video recording, which makes a big difference, and it will probably make a bigger difference than going up to 8K resolution, considering 8K screens are few and far between right now. A fairly disappointing spec though, if we can believe Roland's specs leaks, is that the OnePlus 8, the non-Pro version, that 48 megapixel main image sensor is not the same as the one used on the OnePlus 8 Pro. It will, according to this leak, keep using the IMX586 from Sony, which is a year old and is used in much cheaper phones, almost half the price of what the OnePlus 8 will be. So on the surface at least, no hardware upgrades for that camera setup in the OnePlus 8, but I reserve judgment about the camera before we actually see the phone, see what hardware they're using and see the results from it, because that's the main thing. Also, an interesting revelation is that OnePlus seem to be completely fed up with people leaking their stuff. Yesterday we got the leak of the charging accessory from EV Leaks, which shows us firstly that we have an accessory, and secondly confirms the fact that the OnePlus 8 Pro is getting wireless charging. But OnePlus, rather than sitting back and taking the leak, decided to go on the offensive and just released a blog post telling us all about the 30-watt charging. In their blog post, they talked about all the challenges that they faced putting fast wireless charging into phones, and really reading between the lines, they just had a problem with how much heat was generated, and this is why it's taken so long for them to implement some fast charging technologies. And this is also why their particular charging accessory has a huge fan inside of it. The accessory and the phone will talk to each other. So for example, if you're charging it overnight and you don't need that fast 30 watt, it will turn the fan off and charge at a slower rate. Because this charging tech is proprietary, it means that the phone and this charging accessory have to go together. If you want to use a normal wireless charger that supports Qi standard, so for example, if you're in your car or you go to your friend's house or you go to Starbucks and there's a wireless charger, it will be using Qi technology, and then the phone only charges at 5 watts. So yes, OnePlus finally caved into some customers' requests to add wireless charging to the OnePlus 8 phones, but it's just in the Pro model and only fast if you buy that accessory. So wireless charging is kind of here, but also kind of not. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.